So Lee, it's actually interesting. Right now you have one investor who is also a founder, and then you have two engineers. So and you have floating shares, quite an amount of shares that are floating. So I'm curious for guys who are interested in the startup journey, Stawika startup journey, how do you guys transition from the shares one investor to a second investor, and what informed the need to have another investor at this particular moment?
Okay.
And which year was this?
So that's a very good question. I can say a business is a business when it's generating money first, and when it has money to expand.
Okay.
So this is where investors come in.
Yeah.
So the first thing we did was to try to apply for investment capital around the country. And once you get something, or if you don't, you can also look for investments internationally.
Yeah.
So we have organizations like Y Combinator.
Yeah.
You can always get investors from outside the countries, from Y Combinator or any other investment companies out there. So what we did first, we wanted to first make money ourselves before we called in an investor.
Okay.
So that's where we started lending. We started lending slowly by slowly, so that we can grow the numbers. So like I said, Raphael put in the first funds so that we can run the business, because it's like I said, it's a money oriented space. You first have to have the money to give out so that we can get back the money in profits. And before you approach an investor, you need to have the numbers, because an investor will not just invest in you. They say investor invests in people, which is correct. But you have to go there with the numbers first and show the investor, this is what we have, and we are looking for this amount. So that's when we were able to get the first investor, and he believed in us and he invested in us. So we were also working with banks. We had a bank by the name Jamii Bank. So we were using Jamii Bank to lend to us, and then we pay them back. So
this is loan now?
Yeah, this is a loan. So there are different ways you can get an investor. Yeah, so these are the two options. Either you can get a loan, or you can get someone to put in money, and then you pay them slowly by slowly.
So now, getting loan from the bank, so you guys were using the leverage of Patrick, who had not Patrick, Raphael.
Raphael.
Who had a banking background. So
sure.
Yeah, so that's the advantage that you had.
Yeah, that was a very big advantage, because he knew how to deal with the bank. So we left that sector to him,
to Raphael,
yeah, so that he can handle it, and he handled it very well.
Okay. So maybe I think you have led me to another question, which is, so the first investment, which is what Raphael put in, what was the money used for? And I think you've alluded to it already, but maybe you can just...
So the biggest chunk of the money was used for lending out.
Lending out, okay.
Yeah, because it wasn't really to pay us or to pay for the... He paid us some money, but I can't say it's a big amount, because we also had to get an office. We started an office which was very small.
Yeah.
It can fit an office which could only fit 4 chairs and a round table.
Okay.
So that's where we started, and it was just me mostly and Patrick, and then we employed one, the very first employee.
Okay.
Yeah. So it had 4 tables. So for Raphael, me, Patrick, and the employee who was the secretary back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't have a big office. So, but the biggest chunk of the money, we were using that money to lend out.
Yeah.
And when we got the profit, we could pay the office space and some of our in-house expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a lending business, money, lending first.
Okay. With the first investment, were you able to break even?
No.
Okay.
So it's not really easy to break even.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to look for another external investor.
Yeah.
So, and then a few, I can say 3 years, 4 years down the line is when we broke even.
Okay.
So if you start a startup or you get into business to break even maybe the first 6 months or the first year, very few people do break even in the first or second year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were grateful we were able to break even until maybe when Corona came, things
Slowed down.
Yeah, slowed down, and because the NPL started growing.
Okay.
So in this business, be ready for a larger NPL because a person can say, "Give me 10,000, I'll give you back in 30 days or in 21 days," but when the time comes, they don't pay you back. So it's a risky business, but they always say, the higher the risk, the bigger the returns.
The bigger the returns. So NPL, you mean net profit loss or what?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So maybe, so which year were you guys thinking of bringing a second investor?
So
is it the second year or the first year?
So it was mostly Rafa started looking for an investor the second year, end of the second year. Yeah, so...
And what informed the need to have a second investor, maybe?
So I saw we were expanding because we got to a place where we needed a bigger office.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do all our stuff in-house.
Okay.
So these are the collection guys. These are the customer care.
Yeah, collection, you mean?
Collection. So we did. So in this type of business, you can either outsource the collection.
Collection, you mean?
Collecting. So once you lend in money.
Oh yeah.
So you need people to collect the money. Like you need to call.
Or to make calls.
To make calls to tell people to pay.
To repay their cash.
To pay their loans.
Yeah.
So you see, there's this Kenyan culture. Many people have to be reminded. Yeah. you know, you have to pay this amount, but you have to be reminded to do.
Okay.
So we wanted most of this to be in-house. Yeah. Apart from using the collection companies, the debt collection company. Or you can also do both. You can have your guys and the loans which are hard or easy or maybe can be collected in a normal way. You can decide which type of loans to outsource to the collection company. So that's when we employed a few people to do the collection and a few to do customer care. After we got the first funding.
So the first funding, this is not the very first funding you're talking about.
So this is not the very first funding.
Or the second investor.
So, yeah, we can call this the seed or the secondary seed capital.
So we are talking about, so that's what informed Raphael to look for a second investor.
Yeah,
because of the need of expanding to have internal collection personnel. And you mentioned about the loan. At what point did the loan come into play? Was it before the second investor came or after?
So we had a loan first before
the second investor.
Yeah, before the second investor. But you see, a loan is not like there is a threshold. You can always take a loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were dealing with 2 banks, and they were able to support us throughout the way.
Yeah.
And it was very good. So they took us from one stage to the other, and they expanded our loan book. Yeah, meaning that we could lend out more.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And well, maybe what are the challenges of having an investor vis-a-vis taking a loan, if you are to compare the two?
So
for a startup?
I can say people prefer investors because they bring that expertise.
Okay.
Because you see a loan, you can a bank will give you a loan and tell you pay back in 1 year. We don't care whether your business is doing well or bad.
Yeah.
But an investor is someone who is joining on board to help you grow.
Yes.
Because in the long run, he sees maybe he can get something in return. Maybe they prefer to get their money back, which is, even if I was an investor, that would be the first thing in mind. But what they bring to the team is experience, and we really learn a lot from these investors. Actually, right now we are still learning from our chairman, so who is also an investor. So if you need to get money as a startup, I would prefer you look for an investor, someone who will take you through the journey with them. And with this, it's a very good step.
Okay.
Yeah. So to answer your question, investor or bank, it depends.
Yeah.
But on my side, I'll take an investor over a bank loan. So if I can get an investor, maybe, and I believe in myself, I can always get a bank loan.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, does having a second investor who comes in, does it give you guys more pressure?
Of course, there's that pressure because you need to get your numbers right.
Yeah.
An investor, when he comes in, he wants to see his worth of the money.
Yeah.
So he wants to see his money. He needs you to assure him that you are going to make his money back and with a profit. Because that's the first thing you sold to him when you approached him. Yeah. So I found out that once you get the first investor, it's easy to get that second and the third. So the first is always the
hard one,
the hardest to get. But once you get that, he can introduce you to his or our peers, and it worked very well for us. Yeah, we were able to get the second, the third, and the fourth.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so which is something we are grateful for.
So having Raphael on board really
helped.
Smoothened the Stawika journey.
Yeah, because to be honest, we were just developers, and we left the business side to him, and he handled it very well.
Very well, yeah. Okay. So a new investor, that is the second investor, has come in. Were you guys able to achieve what you promised in the first? I don't know if it's the first year and how long it took between the second and the third investor. But were you able to keep your promise to the investor? And were there any changes that you have to make because probably they came up with different ideas on how things should be done?
Yeah, so we were able to accomplish what we promised. Yeah, so because I remember 2019, 2020, so our numbers were really doing very good, and the investors were happy, and actually most of them wanted to put in more money. So the challenge which we faced was Corona. So when it came, people did not have money, to be honest. So people want to take, but they cannot pay back.
Refund,
it's not because I cannot blame the customers here because I understand where the country was at that time, not just the country, the entire world. So people can attest that many people lost their jobs. So that was one of our biggest challenge, and that's where our NPL really grew. And non-performing loans, so we could not really collect as we were collecting, and it was pressure. Like you say, we need to show the numbers, but they are not showing up. They are not coming the way we want. But we were able to break through from Corona, like everyone else, and things became easier. So yeah.
So you said NPL means what?
Non-performing loans.
Non-performing loans.
Yeah, non-performing.
I thought it was net profit loss.
So in the fintech industry, it's non-performing loans. These are loans which which people take and they do not pay during their speculated time. So you can have loans for a week, maybe for another one for 21 days, for 30 days, for 60 days. So once a loan is after 90 days to 150 and beyond, so that's we can say that if you have a big number there, you can say you have a big NPL from loans from 3 months to 90 and above,
which is a liability now to the company.
Which becomes a liability because these are loans which many people or many companies tend to outsource to other companies, because once a loan gets to that point, many people are very, very reluctant to pay. So they find it hard to pay, or some maybe lost their jobs. Others are not there anymore. They changed their phone numbers. So these loans can really be tough on the business.
So what were the strategies that you guys were using for NPL, non-performing loans?
So first, like I said, we outsource to there are companies which are created to do that,
to help you get the money back,
to get a percentage of the money back. Of course, you cannot get all of it.
Which companies are these? Do they have like some legal mandate?
They are governed. They have bodies, and they are.
So it's more of a government institution.
So they're not government institutions. They are allowed by the government to do this. So we have quite a number in the market. So their job is to help lending companies collect money, back their money. So
and how effective are they?
They
are very effective.
Since they are still running, so they do collect. They have their ways. Some people may say they have good or bad ways, but at the end of the day, they usually get some of the money, which the in-house team can be a challenge. You see, dealing with customers, people say customer care is not a hard job, but when you get into that room, a customer call center for a week or a day, you can really say these people really work, because talking to customers is not easy.
Now, a question: how have regulation through your journey as a legal as a lender, as the lending startup? How was the journey for you with the government in terms of regulation?
So when we were starting, it was much easier, to be honest with you, because
regulation was enabling.
It was enabling. And then government started regulating maybe
the lending service.
The lending
market,
because many customers or many businesses did not have a permit. So like as we speak, we are still getting our permit, but things are going very well. In the next a month or two, we'll have a lending permit from the government. So, but with the introduction right now, also with the finance bill, you see everything goes up. So if you used to give loans for maybe 9% or 8%, you will have to increase your interest rates so that you can make money from that. Because you can't say you are just there stagnant, yet the government is increasing their taxes
and levies.
So it's hard, but I can also say it's doable. So what we just need to do as a country is to help businesses remove lower some levies, and also because this also attracts investors more. So you've heard of these tax haven countries. There's a reason investors put their money in these countries rather than countries which have bigger bigger taxes or levies on their, because the tax defines our business makes profit and losses. Yeah, so it has affected us, but not only us, but all the businesses around the country, be it even the transport or the agriculture. So it's a normal thing.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping also you touch on the CBK regulation that I think disrupted the lending market. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
When the CBK didn't like the approach that was being used to get the money back from the customers. I don't know if you remember that, and how did that impact your business, and what strategies did you guys have to change?
So the CBK is the one I've told you about.
Yeah.
We are waiting for our license,
Yeah.
but it really affected many lending companies, because more than 200 applied for a permit from the CBK, but only 20, I think 18 to 20 got their license. Yeah, so it really affected us, because we were one of the people who did not get, but we are in the process. Like I say, we are getting ours very soon. And it's a challenge, because it also affects you and where you host the application, the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
Because Google has to be compliant with the country's
government,
country's rules and regulations. So there's a time Google told us, if you don't have the license, your app will be pulled down.
Yeah.
And that also affects us internally, because you cannot say you are a lending company, yet you don't have the app. Yeah, so it affects you, but you also find other means to communicate with your customers. Yeah.
Okay. Still on the government. So there was a data protection law. Remember that?
Yeah, sure.
It's called the Data Protection Act. I can't remember the act.
Yeah, I remember the act.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the act was against taking customer information.
Yes. PII.
Yeah, so there are some apps when you download them, they have access to all your contact information.
Yes.
Some could also pick your M-Pesa statement without consent. So this is something which we are complying with. So we do not pick customer information unless we request for that information. In case maybe, like right now, we have a product by the name business loan, which is called a business loan. So for you to be able to access this, you have to share your M-Pesa statement with us.
Yeah.
So this, for you to access this loan, we both have to consent.
Okay.
So, and you also need to know we are taking this information. So we are in compliance with the data protection law.
Yeah.
So we do not take a customer
data without their consent.
Yeah, we do not take like their phone numbers or read their SMSs. So we just need to know if the name you've given us is correct. Like if you say you are called Cecil Migai, we just we can confirm with IPRS to know which if you said your ID number is 225522, and then we compare that against your name. So this can tell us, yes, this is correct, and then we move forward to the next step.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I think now we are done with the regulation. So maybe we can just, as we conclude this part of the conversation, maybe what up to this point, any major lessons that you've learned from dealing with investors, and also how are you guys able to transition from COVID up to this point?
Okay, what I learned is, like I said, investors invest in people.
Yeah.
So not really the company. Yeah, although they need the numbers. But the transition has been, I can say there have been challenges, because these are challenges which happens for any startup. Even startups which which are formed in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
So they have this challenge. You can see an investor, or you can see a founder. Sorry, a founder. Maybe is out there driving big cars,
Yeah.
living lavishly. But when you get in,
Yeah.
you will see that this company has some challenges.
Yeah.
COVID was one of them. So, but we were able to overcome that, not only as a company, but as a country at large. Right now, I can see things are back to normal, and people are trying to add 1 + 1 and get to. So, challenges will always be there. So it depends on how you approach them, and if you work as a team, you will always overcome.
All right. And what can you tell an engineer that only knows tech? Because I'm sure when you're starting out, you never thought that you'll end up working in a company where you will be building a platform for lending. So which forced you to learn a lot, business side, of course, investment side, and also the bureaucracies around lending in terms of government regulations, etc. So what advice will you tell an engineer that is just starting out, or someone that has the skill but doesn't know how to leverage with business, the business side of of engineering is?
I can say this. Number one is find at least a team and someone who will push you to the next step.
Yeah.
So if you want to join the startup sector or the startup industry, be focused and be courageous. So they are like, don't say that this company and this company are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just get in there and do it, because ask yourself, how many banks are there in the market right now?
Yeah.
There are many, but you don't hear one bank complaining to the other bank, oh, since Bank X is doing it, let me stop this, shut up shop and go home. No. Just get in there and make sure you have a product which people need. That's why you need a plan to know about the market. Make sure your product is market fit before you roll it out there. They used to tell us back in MLab, you roll bit by bit, which is true. But I also say, make sure you have a product which customers will run to.
Okay.
Do not build your product just for yourself and then roll it out there, assuming people will come. Right now, it's too competitive.
Yes.
To even roll a product with one feature and say, I'm done. People will come there and leave. The best customers are the ones who come and then come again. Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you have a product, introduce it to your closest friends and family. So once you introduce that product to them, monitor how they interact with the products. Will they just log in and say, they'll tell you it's good, and then they leave. Now wait for if they come back. If they don't come back, then know you have a product which is not ready for the market. But if they come back and interact with it, you can see from the logs, which is a very important feature in any product. The logs will tell you what kind of a product you have. So if they come back, and then you can get ideas from them and build a product for the customer. Meaning, talk to the customers first and ask them, what do you want? If they give you an answer, then you can know, okay, this is how I need to go. Because you can say, I want to go right, but a customer tells you go left.
All right.
So left is where to go.
All right. Thank you, Lee, for this. That was amazing. And hope you guys catch us again in another video. Cheers.
Thank you.